Hello everyone, welcome back to Financial News. I am Ron Jankowski with Channel 4 and my co-host is Paul Munichol from Ameriprise Financial. Today is August 8th, 2023. Paul is going to give us an update and where we stand with the marketplace and all that took place last week, and I'll give you an update as of this morning.
Great, thanks Ron. Solid fundamentals are once again lifting the near-term prospects. Back on July 28th, the Commerce Department reported better than expected Q2 real gross domestic product growth of positive 2.4%. Now the Bloomberg consensus had looked for a gain of 1.8%, while we had projected a 2.1% increase. Stronger than expected consumer spending accounted for most of the outperformance relative to expectations. Now, when combined with other recent economic data, our second half growth estimates have turned from slightly negative to modestly positive. We now see Q3 real GDP growth at positive 1.3% versus our prior estimate of a 0.6% contraction. Likewise, we now see Q4 real GDP growth at positive 0.6% versus a prior estimate of negative 0.3%. So what's changed? Aside from the better than expected momentum of late, some of the incremental burdens we had previously expected to develop early in the second half have been diluted. We had expected a resumption of student loan payments to weigh on consumer purchasing power beginning in September. However, the Biden administration has implemented a restart date that is later than expected, and full payments will only be required after a multi-month ramp-up period. We had also expected to see greater pressure on small business loan availability as a result of recent banking system pressures. To date, however, such pressures have yet to emerge with any materiality, in our view. Consumer financial health is always central to the general economic outlook, and to that end, personal wages and salaries were a strong positive 7.1% higher year over year in June, and that's per the Commerce Department. And the Federal Reserve's financial obligations ratio remains below its pre-pandemic levels, which were already quite low by historical standards. Beyond the consumer, new home construction has been rebounding in response to historically low supply. Business inventories are low, and business investment in new equipment remains supported by worker availability challenges. Actual data depicted in the data is sourced from Commerce Department. Forecasts are sourced from AEIS income and from Bloomberg. So there's a lot of data there, a lot to review, but things are looking stronger.
It appears that way, and then as of this morning, Ameriprise had shared this following with us. U.S. stock futures are lower this morning after a mostly positive day on Monday, led by healthcare and industrials, and financials are likely to come under pressure today following Moody's downgrade review for several large U.S. banks. Go ahead.
The market was a bit rough last week, so getting that rally Monday was nice to see. Today's futures are not looking great, but we'll see how it goes.
Markets in Asia closed mixed, but Hong Kong was down nearly 2% on weakness in property names. Europe is trading lower by about 1% at midday. U.S. Treasuries are pulling back this morning, with the 10-year dropping below 4% and the 2-year back down under 4.75%.
We're getting some volatility back.
Yes, we are. Bitcoin futures are up 0.2%. Gold is down 0.1%. WTI crude is giving back some recent gains, down nearly 2%. And all this is positive. The index percentage returns year to date are 18% for S&P 500, 8% Dow Jones, and 34% for NASDAQ.
Still good numbers.
Wow, they are.
Still got a while to go before the end of the year, but hopefully we can hold these and maybe even add on to them.
Hopefully, it looks good though.
We'll see.
Yep, we'll see where it goes. Stay with us. We'll be right back with our show called Your Money. Paul, again, usually has an excellent topic to share with us. Stay with us. And we're back with Your Money. Today's topic is get a start on college savings. When is the right time, Paul?
Yeah, and today we're going to talk a little bit about 529s and how they could get you a start on your college savings. And you're right, Ron, when is the right time to start saving for your child's education? The short answer is as soon as possible. College tuition continues to rise with few signs of slowing down. If you plan to help your children with the cost of attending college, it's best to start saving when they are young and time is on your side. Today, we have some strategies to help tackle this important financial goal. One, you can consider funding a 529 plan. 529 plans named after Section 529 of the Internal Revenue Code are one of the more popular investment vehicles American families use to save for education expenses. The funds can be applied to most accredited colleges, graduate programs, professional and trade schools, limited to $10,000 per year for K through 12 schooling. For federal income tax purposes, your contributions to a 529 plan are not tax deductible. However, your earnings are permitted to grow tax deferred. Additionally, you will not be taxed at the federal level and in most cases the state level if the money is eventually withdrawn and applied to the eligible higher education expenses. As you consider if a 529 plan is right for your family, consider the following tips for funding one of these types of savings accounts. 1. Calculate the amount of education expenses needed. So first, decide how much you and your child would like each to contribute to his or her education and estimate college expenses accordingly. Savings put aside in the 529 plan can be for tuition, school fees, room and board, internet access, required technology, so which might be a laptop or a printer, and maybe textbooks. Be sure to include the cost of these items when calculating the amount you need to save. Tip number 2, save automatically and increase the amount over time. Most 529 plans make it easy to consistently save by allowing you to make automated contributions. As your financial priorities change, such as when you're no longer paying for daycare or your spouse goes back to work, consider boosting your monthly savings. However, don't neglect your own financial future. Contributions to your own retirement plan should take priority over saving for a child's college tuition. Tip number 3, increase savings with gifts from friends or from family. So when your child's young, maybe apply monetary holiday or birthday gifts from friends and family to your college savings fund. A small gift today can be given the chance to potentially grow and could potentially make a significant difference in the total you have available when your child is ready for college. If a grandparent would like to contribute regularly, he or she may be able to establish their own 529 plan with the grandchild as the beneficiary. Tip number 4, select the appropriate investment options. So like anything, there are a variety of investment options available, as many states and educational institutions offer 529 plans. Now, while you may choose a plan in another state, check to see if your state offers any tax deductions, credits, or benefits for residents before doing so. Ultimately, be sure to choose a plan that offers the right mix of investments for your time horizon and risk tolerance. Tip number 5, create a strategy to save for multiple children. Because each 529 plan can only have one beneficiary, you need to be thoughtful about how you use this type of plan for each child's college savings. If you will have multiple children in college at the same time, it might make sense to establish a separate account for each child. If there's excess money after your eldest child finishes college, you may be able to transfer the balance from his or her 529 plan into one or more other plans penalty-free. However, if there is an age gap between your children, you can potentially change the beneficiary of your account to your second child after the original beneficiary no longer needs tuition assistance. Now, check with an advisor because gift tax consequences may apply. So review your strategy with your financial and tax advisor. Additional college savings options, while 529 plans are the most common way to save for college, they're not the only option. Some other tax advantage saving options parents use include Coverdale Education Savings Accounts, Uniform Transfer to Minors Act, otherwise known as UTMA accounts, Uniform Gifts to Minors Act, UGMA accounts, or other tax-exempt savings bonds. Families also have the option to save using a taxable account. Keep in mind that there are advantages and disadvantages to each type of savings option, and each option may impact your current financial situation and your child's eligibility for financial aid differently. So if you want a second opinion on which option is best for your family, consult with your financial advisor and your tax advisor. And a financial advisor will look at your unique set of circumstances, and together you can create a financial plan that includes savings for future college expenses.
Paul, if a viewer, if a viewer was wanting to do a 529 plan, how does one create that? I'm sure there's a question in some of the people that are watching this. How do I create that? Is that a deduction from your employer? Do you go to the bank and create one? How does one do that?
There's multiple ways to create them. Financial advisors can create them. I believe banks can. You can look online and potentially do that yourself online. So you have a plethora of options. Just do your research, make sure it's the right one for you.
Well, you went through 5 steps, and really some of them can get into pretty depth of your financial strategy. You really need a financial advisor, as you mentioned, also a tax advisor to walk you through that.
Anyone that watches our shows know pretty much every week we recommend working with professionals, financial advisors, or tax advisors. Not saying you can't do it by yourself, but a professional is there to help.
All right, thank you, Paul. Thank Ameriprise Financial for coming in here. I'm Ron Jankowski, and Paul Municle. Why don't you give your ID so that in case somebody has a question, Paul, they can give you a call.
Absolutely. Like Ron said, my name's Paul Municle. I am a financial advisor at Ameriprise Financial, and I can be reached with questions or concerns at 708-226-3412.
For Paul Municle, myself, Ron Jankowski, we wish you a good investment day.